So we've reached the end of House of the Dragon Season 3, and I just thought I'd make a video about my thoughts on the show. And I've never read the book, so this is coming from someone that just has experienced the story on screen with only ever hearing about what the book was like. But so far, I think Season 3 is really good. Um, I mean, it's better than Season 2 by far. Season 2 was like a huge letdown after the end of Season 1. I remember seeing that look of Rhaenyra turning around at the fireplace after she'd lost her first son, and you thought that the war was going to begin right then, that there would be huge repercussions for killing that kid and his dragon by Aemond, and but they didn't. Season 2 just kind of just got stuck in Harrenhal with Daemon and Rhaenyra doing nothing, and it's hard to even remember what happened that season. Um, but most of it was really set up for what came in season 3, and I think season 3 was really good. We got that first battle, um, the ship battle, which was amazing. That has got to be seriously within the top 10 fantasy medieval battles ever put to screen. I really liked the Corlys section where they were trying to get his ship through that narrow ravine and avoid the rocks. That was great tension and really unique. We rarely ever see any kind of ship action on screen like that, and I just thought that was a really unique and cool way to keep the battle focused on characters. And they did the same thing with Jace and I think I always get the two girls mixed up, Bayla and Reyna, but I think the one who's Jace's wife, I think that's Reyna, right? Reyna, she and Jace's part in that, working together through the battle, and then when I guess when Bayla shows up on Sheep Stealer and she just starts messing everything up, just great drama, and Jace having his dragon get killed, it was really sad. But one nitpick I had there is that like when his dragon was in the water, it felt like there was no bond between him and his dragon. Like as his dragon went beneath the waves, he just abandoned it immediately and just focused on, surviving. And I just thought like we've had scenes before where the dragons have been shown to be bonded to their riders. Like Daenerys had lots of them. And then when Damon's wife, can't remember her name either. I'm terrible with these names. When she was dying during childbirth, so she let the dragon burn her. There was like a hesitation from the dragon where it's like it didn't want to burn her because it had this bond with her. That was its rider, and she didn't want to kill her own rider. So it was sad. You could tell, like as Bayla or what's her name was saying, Dracarys, Dracarys, and it wouldn't do it. It was like, what do you mean, Dracarys? I can't kill you, and I don't know, just that bond and the bond like with Aegon and his dragon. It's great stuff. I really like that. But when Jace's dragon died, he just was like, whatever. I'll get another one. And I thought that moment they could have done something so good. Like imagine if the dragon had went beneath the waves and like say Jace like swam down after it and he went down and he's got like a knife and he's trying to cut the rope on that harpoon they hit it with and it's not working and he's like looking up and you see like the surface of the ocean getting farther and farther away and he looks down at the dragon and he can't get the line to cut and you could have had his dragon maybe like kind of push him away with its nuzzle, like nose him away and say like, "You can't save me, save yourself," and it just would have been a great moment of sadness, like Jace refusing to let his dragon die because he's bonded with it, but he didn't, and I don't know if that's something they didn't do in the books, so they didn't do it in the show either. Like the purpose is to make you see that Jace and other dragon riders, perhaps connected to Rhaenyra, don't really value their dragons as much as they should. But I just think that would have been a great TV moment. Would have been real sad. And then having Jace die right after would have made it just a double heart punch. But Anyways, that was a great episode. I loved it. And when Jace died, I was shocked. I was really like not expecting that to happen at all. And I loved the nonchalantness that they did it with, where the arrow just comes in, bam, he turns around, bam, another one, and he's just kind of sitting there, and then the third one hits him in the neck, and that's it. You know, it's just really good drama, really good unexpected, turn, especially if you haven't read the books. But and then we go on season two with Rhaenyra, or I mean episode two with Rhaenyra taking the throne finally, and when she cut off Otto's head and it took her a couple swings, and the way she cried, and I just loved it. I thought it was so good and just so unique. We've never seen a character like Rhaenyra before, where they're just so like overwhelmed by what she's having to do, and I don't know. I just thought that was really good, um, and then after that, we get lots of episodes of Aegon and Larys, which I liked. I really liked all the Larys and Aegon stuff, and Aemon though I didn't like a lot of what they did with Aemon. It feels like they're taking a character who was supposed to be Daemon's like arch nemesis, his equal on the green side, and now he's just kind of like, I don't know, he's got the mommy issues, and there's just too much that kind of demeans his character now, to where he's more kind of like pathetic, I guess. He's not as intimidating as he was like in season one. In season one, you like thought, man, this guy is crazy and he's gonna be a fucking psycho, and Damon better watch out. But that never came. And I also didn't like how they completely in season two skipped over him talking at all about killing Rhaenyra's son. That's like it was a non-event in season two. And then in season three, they finally had one scene at the very end where he goes, I tried to kill Aegon," and Alicent says, "I know." So we got, "I tried to kill Aegon." Yeah, 6 words. We got 6 words of resolution for him killing Rhaenyra's son, which I just think is really bad. Like, there should have been way more story moments devoted to that. And when you think about how much like Massaria and Rhaenyra stuff we've gotten, and it's just like it's weighted wrong. Like, there should be less Massaria and more stuff like Aemon talking about how he killed Rhaenyra's son. That would be much better story stuff. But I can tell that the writers for this season and the directors, they're more visually focused. This is a season about making the show visually um, impressive, and drawing people in with visuals rather than writing. And um, but yeah, most of the middle of season three really good. I liked it. Crispy Bacon, Kristen Cole, call him Crispy Bacon. Crispy Bacon's death, I didn't like it. I thought, I don't know, the book, how they cut that one line from the book. I don't think that's really that big of a deal. I mean, the kid doesn't need to say, "Oh, we're not going to give you a good song because of all the people you've killed." He doesn't need to say that for it to be true. They just have to kill him, and that's what they did. But I just didn't think it just didn't make sense. I don't know. Cole had way too much screen time devoted to him if this was going to be the ending. If they were really going to just go out with a little fizzle of him getting shot with some arrows, you know, then they could have skipped a lot of his other scenes, I feel like. And um I don't know, I wasn't too satisfied with that. I did like him, dying, I guess. Like, having him out of the story frees up a lot more time for other characters, but you know, thought it could have been better. Now, Ormond and Gwaine and Darren, I really liked all that. Thought all of it was really great. At first, I didn't like Ormond. Like, the very first time we saw him, I thought, oh man, this character is going to be boring. He's going to be one of those, cut and copy from some other medieval drama, like some, Victorian era thing. He just had too much of this, like, English pompousness about him. And I assumed his character would just be really, like, bureaucratic and and boring to see, but he was, and he was a great character, and I love that scene where he starts puking on the table. That was great. But um, and Gwaine, I like Gwaine. I think he's a good character. I also didn't really like him at first, but I like him now. Darren and his dragon are cool. And that final battle that with Ulf, and like, oh my god, Ulf is such a good character. I swear, at first I was so rooting for Ulf. Every time Damon was rude to him, I thought, oh man, this guy, he's gonna switch teams, and Damon's gonna fucking deserve it. And then he switched teams, and he fucks up on Ormond now. He's like drunk in the fucking outhouse. That shit cracked me up, man. I was laughing so hard when that happened. And yeah, just having him be just as useless to Ormond as he was to Damon was kind of a unexpected twist for me, because I figured he would be good for them to like teach the blacks a lesson, like don't you treat your dragon riders like shit or else they'll come against you. And in reality, the truth is that Damon was kind of right to be treating him like shit all along. He was a complete idiot, and he went over to Ormond's side, and they gave him everything he wanted, and he still fucked up. So it was basically one of those situations where Ulf was the problem, and no matter what anyone did, it was going to be a problem. They never should have let that fucking guy get a dragon. Um, yeah, and I really I love that scene where we see him talking to Ormond, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna switch to your side," and he gives that big smile. Like, I love that, man. And Hugh Hammer, I liked him. I didn't like how it seems like the story just kind of forgot about him for a whole episode. Like, we see him with his wife, and then we don't see him for a long time, and that leaves like a lot of plot holes with his dragon, really. But you know, but anyways, the final battle was great, man. Those Northmen attacking the city. Damon riling up the troops with his speech, like, "I don't want the best of you, I want the worst of you." Like, that was so great. And the Northmen coming in and just hacking everybody apart, just even killing little kids, like the guy Rowdy or whatever his name was, he whacked that one little kid across the face. That was brutal. And seeing Damon kind of contemplate for a minute, like, should I burn these kids who are guarding the gate, and for a minute he's like, maybe not, but it was a good scene. And those last two kids, I'm pretty sure they got away. If I watched that right, it looked like those last two kids got away. So he didn't kill any little kids at all, but he got through the gate. And battle was great. Him going up against that big dude was like the mountain all over again. That was great. Although I didn't like how he tried to put his eyes out. I thought like there's just too much like similarity to uh what was that guy's name? Oberyn. When Oberyn fought the mountain and he put his eyes out, it was too similar. I thought like they're just rehashing, like the battle's already similar enough. We don't need to do the eye thing too. But that was all really good. And the battle great. Just like the first episode, the last episode was another great battle, top 10 medieval battles ever put to screen, I think. And yeah, I really think season 3 was great. Oh, and Rhaenyra, her speech, and I love her armor. I love that chainmail, hood she's got, even though it doesn't have the padding like it should. Like, it's still, I think it looks really cool. She looks like some like religious crusader or something. Just, it's like she's just fully leaned into this like conqueror look on herself, and I love it. And I love the armor. Um, and when she whispers to Alan, like, you are the blood of old Valyria. You answer to higher gods than them. Like that. It was so sinister and so like manipulative. I just love the way that Rhaenyra has turned into this dark queen, and I don't think it happened too quick, but it didn't have like enough things that felt like they were big enough, like it doesn't feel like Rhaenyra has really faced too much stresses to make her do this quick heel turn, but um it was better than Daenerys. Daenerys just kind of like we went from like season 6 and then season 7. Daenerys was like a completely different person. She turned into like this Nazi witch queen overnight, like from one episode to the next, and there was no explanation for why it happened. No build up, no showing Daenerys constantly losing battles or something, and having the stresses build up around her. She just went from, all right, we're headed to Westeros, and then season ended. Next season, episode 1, bam, she's psycho. And that was just too quick, obviously. But here, Rhaenyra, she's been done much better, and her force feeding Helena, that was great. Like fucking Helena, just like, I thought it was really funny, but also it was like sad for Helena, but um, I don't know, just the drama between Helena and Rhaenyra was pretty good. I'm kind of sad they killed Helena so quick. That's one of the flaws with this show is that we have like a big story moment happen, a big story step that takes us forward, and then they just move on to the next one. They don't try to like explore the position the story is in right there. Like, okay, now Helena is like Rhaenyra's magic 8 ball. Let's do a few scenes of that. Like they just had like the one. She came into her bed and said, "You need to tell me if I'm the queen and I'm supposed to be the queen," and that was it. I'm pretty sure they didn't even have another one like that, but they should have done a few of those. Like it's an interesting concept to see Rhaenyra using Helena to try to turn the battle in her favor, but they just instantly abandoned it. And I don't know if that's like that in the books or not, but if it is like that in the books, then George Martin did a bad job because that should have been extended for sure. That was a really interesting dynamic, and they just threw it out the window. No pun intended. But yeah, so what else? What else? I think that's pretty much it. I mean, Hugh getting chased off, or Ulf getting chased off at the end of the battle. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. I'm sure that Daemon will probably get after Ulf and maybe just kill him right away, or maybe Ulf will try to surrender and they'll kill him then. But Ulf is fucked at this point. He better just ride into the fucking sunset and disappear if he wants to survive. Um, but yeah, other than that, I thought season 3 was great. I really liked it. Um, Hard to point out anything I really didn't like. There was a couple things I didn't like. I can't remember them right now, but other than those few things, season 3 was really good, much better than season 2, and almost better than season 1. I really like season 1, but season 3 really pushed the bar up. They had a really good balance of well written material with well directed action and great CG. Like, I swear, these dragons look amazing. It's crazy that we've come to a point where, shit like HBO looks better than AAA movies being made by Hollywood. These dragons are the most realistic, most fearsome, intimidating dragons that have ever been put to the screen. Like, some of those scenes, like when they went after Sheep Stealer and it was like fighting back and it kind of reared up and looked like it was going to come down on Daemon and like swallow him whole or burn him. That shit was intimidating. Like the way they filmed it was like, damn, this dragon's fucking scary, man. And it's just really good. It's all so good. And I really, really cannot wait for season 4. I think season 4 is going to be really good, especially if we get a lot of the book scenes. Like obviously the big one is the Aemond versus Daemon. That's got to happen, and I'm really excited for that. And but yeah, I mean, really good. I'd if I were to rate season 3, I'd give it like a probably like a really high 7. I couldn't say 8 because there's a lot of stuff that's just not fleshed out fully and just feels like we're kind of stepping stones to the next big event, as quick as we can. But so yeah, high 7. I give even season 2 like I don't know, like a 5. The only good scene in season 2 I liked was the dragon pit, really. where they, you know, got Hugh his dragon and Ulf got his. That was a great episode. Season 1, I'd give like an 8 out of 10. Season 1 can be a little boring on rewatches. Like there's not enough action in season 1. I think like season 3 had a almost like a overweighted balance towards great action scenes. There was a ton of good action in season 3, but season 1 really missed out on a lot of that. So I'd give season 1 like, an 8. It could have been higher because the writing is holding the whole thing up in season 1. But yeah, like 8. So hopefully season 4 can come in and just be like bam 10. But anyways, that's my thoughts.